Right? And then endeavors. She's like, Rhiannon's like me.
100%. Now take it
It's
like
me. Like,
100%.
welcome back to the FanTEAsy podcast, where two besties spill all the delicious tea on the books we read. I'm Callie, and my bestie is Montana.
We are so excited to be back with continuing our series on Fourth Wing. Today we are covering chapters 21 through 25. As you know, if you've been listening, we are doing our big deep dive. We're diving into the characters, the world, the signets, the dragons, and even some fan theories. So please take note and prepare to enter Basgiath War College.
Okay, so we made it into the writer's quadrant, but it's not as simple as that. Remember, this is a full deep dive and breakdown of Fourth Wing. If you have not read all of the book, please go finish and rush back here. We will be discussing all of the Empyrean series in each episode, even if we are just covering a few chapters per episode. That means that we will probably, but most definitely, say things that don't necessarily happen within the chapters. We say this because we are human and sometimes our mouths work faster than our brains and things will come out, and we do not want to spoil anything, even though we're here to spill the tea.
Along with not wanting to spoil the journey of the story, please take note that we are adults. We're having adult conversations. There are things like, death and weapons and just, overall kind of scary things. So we are rating this episode rated R. Also, if you are a fan of the FanTEAsy podcast, please consider leaving us a review or a rating on wherever you are watching or listening. We would greatly appreciate it. And make sure to also follow us on Instagram and TikTok.
Yay! With that, I have the most important question of the episode. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
Epic. I am ready. These are good chapters.
We just love this.
They
are. They were long chapters.
Yeah, they were, but that's okay. We're going to power through. And I feel like they were long, but not everything needs to be noted. There's just a little here, a little there. Some good insight, though, on a lot of these chapters. And things that I, glossed out in my brain. But then as I got to the end of the chapters, I was like, yes, these are my favorite parts. Things that, just stick with you from the book that were so good. But I loved it.
Yeah. So before we dive into our monologue, what era are you in today?
I'm still Tortured Poets, but it's seeping back into going into just all Taylor Swift shuffle, just because summer's coming. But I'm still repeat Tortured Poets, but my go-to song right now is Guilty as Sin or I'm Gonna Get You Back, which I feel like is so different from where I started. But they change all the time. 100%. That top song changes all the time. What era or song are you?
I'm a mixture, still very heavy in Tortured Poets, but also 1989 Taylor's version, for those vault tracks. But song-wise, mine change all the time too. So I'm still sitting with the Bolter or the Alchemy.
The Bolter.
They're
Chef's
great.
kiss. They're so good. Okay. Shall we?
Are you ready to dive into our 21 through 25 monologue?
Oh, sure.
The best part.
Okay.
It's my favorite. Guys, I'm telling you, this is my favorite segment of the podcast. They're always good. Do not discredit yourself.
Okay, thanks,
you make it
Bessie.
seem so funny, and I love that.
These ones aren't that funny. I felt like, I don't know, there wasn't, I guess maybe it's just my brain when I was writing it. It's just not in a funny space.
Also, not a whole lot of funny things happening, so.
I know. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot that happens in these chapters, but nothing that's okay. Anyway, we're just going to get into it. If you think it's funny, great. If you don't tell me. Okay. Chapter 21. We are back to normal daily life within the college walls. Violet and her friends are attending Battle Breathe, flight lessons, sparring, and those that have manifested their signets are also now practicing with Professor Carr, although Violet still hasn't manifested and feels her time ticking away. Despite this, her and Liam grow more fond of each other as they are forced to spend nearly all their time together as her newfound bodyguard. They both are on archives duty, but what seems a tedious task is still one of Violet's favorite places to be. But one day they stumble upon some interesting information that they soon find out must be highly confidential. Chapter 22. Violet becomes increasingly more frustrated with Taryn not wanting to channel to her as he deems her not ready. As she continues through classes and more training with Imogen and Rhiannon, she soon finds herself in the middle of a tiff, which quickly leads both Taryn and Adarna to agree she's ready. That evening, in the comfort of her own room, Violet feels a wave of power course through her, but what comes with it is also immense pain and maybe a little pleasure. In a hasty decision, she decides to go find Xaden. To get to the root of the cause, there is only one answer: Taryn and Sigale. While the two dragons seem to be getting their freak on, Xaden uses his time to
Whew.
enjoy some herbal relief, if you catch my drift. But in the meantime, helps Violet learn to ground herself in order to block out some of the power. While things seem to be under control, their wave of emotions get the better of them in the steamiest first kiss known to man. But when Violet wants it to never end, Xaden pulls away, making the decision for her. Chapter 23. Signets on signets on signets. As more writers manifest and start channeling their power from their dragons, Violet is now channeling and using her power for lesser magic as she practices things like writing without holding a pencil, unlocking doors, or just grounding in her mind. Then the awful day has come where Jack is challenging Violet in a sparring match. Lucky for her, she is prepared and knows what's coming. Unlucky for her, he is going for the kill. Violet asks Liam not to warn Xaden as she wants to handle the situation herself, but quickly comes to terms that maybe that isn't the best in her best interest or Xaden's. With a little help from some oranges, she finds a way to survive the day. Chapter 24. After her match with Jack, Xaden decides to take Violet in his own hands, literally, and stay with her at all times, relieving Liam from his bodyguard duties. Violet is more than excited with the extra time with him, but when their intimate moment is left undiscussed, she finds herself a little frustrated. He is now training her in and out of the gym with battle games right around the corner. He is more focused on the outcome of her life instead of the outcome of the games. Chapter 25. This is one of my favorite chapters as Violet and the gang prepare further for the battle games and are racking up scores with every match. Things take a turn when instead of the final squad battle beginning the next day, they begin tonight, with the challenge of finding something their enemies would deem important in defeating Navarre within Basgiath's walls. The squad disperse to make a plan. Imogen is named leader and the group starts to form a plan. What could possibly be worth stealing to help their enemies? With only one thing in mind, Violet chimes in to break into General Sorrengail's office. But if they get caught, the consequences could be dire. Dun dun dun.
Da, da, da.
Dun dun dun.
That's
Ooh,
so
that was
great.
long-winded.
That is so great. It was good though. Very informative while not giving too much away.
Yeah. There's a lot in these chapters,
I
but
liked it. You know, going back to chapter 21, this is where we truly start to like meet our sweet angel baby Liam.
I know. I literally
And I
wrote
just, I
low key
can't.
quality time with Liam. Like
Oh my gosh, no, in my
I love
notes, that's so
him.
funny because let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I called him a sweet angel baby. Yeah, sweet angel baby Liam in chapter
He is sweet.
23.
Sweet angel baby. We love him.
He is.
These
You know,
chapters
as
we like.
he's going to go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, these are the chapters that we like start to really see his personality, and like this is when you fall in love with him.
We
I
love him.
know. I know.
And I just love that, you know, since he is her shadow now and her bodyguard, that, he's going to the archives with her, and
Mm-hmm.
she notes that her squeaky cart was fixed the very first day because of him. She's like, of course he just had to fix it. We're just like, oh, Liam. Oh,
Just like
Liam.
those little things. Like he's like golden
Hmm.
retriever for sure. 100%.
Oh my gosh, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
We it's just so great.
But then you kind of learn to
I thought it
like,
was in
sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
I think we're going to say the same thing. How they note
I do
like
too.
Liam and Zayden didn't like him at first either. And I think that's like a fun little tidbit
Hmm.
of like, but what's not to love about Zaddy?
About either of them.
Literally.
This is a white shoes.
We don't need to discuss the FMK that we had the other day.
We have moved on. We are in our white shoes era. It's fine.
Why choose? I need them all. Thank you.
You know what bothers me though is as they're getting to the archives and there's Cadet Pearson sitting in front, getting ready to let them in before they go see Jacinia, and he's like super friendly to Violet, but really just gives Liam the cold shoulder. And you're like, are you fucking serious? Even the
Mm-hmm.
scribes over here, like being all pissy with the ones that have the relic, and you're like, you know what? Fuck off. This is just discrimination, and we don't stand for that shit.
Well, and it's always so interesting that they like take it out on the kids because like
Yeah,
it
wasn't their
wasn't
fault. They're
them,
kids.
it was their parents. And like some of them, it happened like, I think it's in this chapter. They talk about the youngest
Mm-hmm.
of the
Yeah,
children being what, 6, right? And so, like, to
the youngest
think,
one is 6, and she was born with her mark.
yeah, literally born with it. So to think, like, you're holding a grudge against a child that, like, wasn't even alive, like, or was,
Mm-hmm.
it just is so mind blowing. So, like, that whole, him, like, giving him the cold shoulder is like, really? Like, it wasn't him. It's so frustrating. I don't know. I guess it's like you're
It
judging
is.
totally based off of what you see and not who Liam is. And like, I don't know,
Yeah,
that rubs me the wrong way because it's Liam. We love Liam.
literally.
Ugh.
But you know what? How much we love Liam, he walks right into the archives to Jacinia and starts signing to her. First of all, he knows ASL, so we
Signing.
love that. But he's flirting with her. He's winking at her. We're like, okay, Liam, go off.
Mhm. Mhm. She's a long-term relationship girl and you're not. He's
He's like, how does anyone think like that?
like, we might die tomorrow. Like, I'm just trying to get laid. What? But it's Jasenia,
You
and
know
no, she's
what?
not like that. Okay.
A
Well, maybe she
Jacinia
is. We don't
Liam
know.
story could have been fun.
Mm,
You know, it it
it
could
could
have
have.
been
I
a
mean,
cute little moment.
well, yeah, he's so sweet to her. So, like, why not?
Yeah.
He's so sweet to her.
Yeah, maybe it could have turned into like a cute relationship. Who
Hmm.
knows? I guess we'll never know.
In these moments, because they're obviously spending like all their time together, so they're talking a lot more and just like discussing like normal everyday things that you would like maybe chat with your friends. And like obviously
Yeah.
he knows that she was going to be a scribe, so then she's like, but what did you want to be? And he's just like, alive.
Ugh, makes me so sad.
Like my heart breaks, just shatters that that's the comment he
It's
responds
just
with.
yeah. It's just not fair to any of them at all.
No.
And it's funny that that's the direction you were going, because that's also the direction I was about to go just right
Yeah.
before that. They're talking about it, and Liam just makes this comment to her who's like, Ryerson was right. You would have been wasted as a scribe. I'm like, okay, one, Zaddy's out here complimenting her as a writer to Liam.
To Liam, just to
Okay.
anybody who will listen.
But
He's like, my girl, bye.
I know. But Liam's also just like, yeah, no, like you belong here. Because Violet's starting to finally realize, like, yeah, I changed. I belong in the writer's
Mm-hmm.
quadrant. And even others are acknowledging that, which is just really cool. I love that he told her that.
I do too. And then they discuss, how
We
they
also,
know each other. And this is when we
you and
learn
I
that
are
they
on
were.
just like the same brain cell right now because we're going the same direction with everything that we
Sorry.
say.
I know where
No,
you're
no, it's
at.
so good. I think that's
I
so
know where you're at.
great.
But yeah,
Anyway,
so
keep going.
we learn that they're fostered together and that the whole, when King Tari's, everything happened with the rebellion and the parents were executed, Xaden's parents were
Mm-hmm.
executed at Liam's house, or his father,
Yeah.
which is just like heartbreaking to like, because then she notes that Liam's name is on the death roll as a witness.
Yep. It
uh,
just makes me
and it
sad.
just
And, talking
it makes me
about
want to give
his
him a hug.
dad and it's just, yeah. And he's all thrown off like, wait, you read them just because,
Yeah.
Violet needed to make sure that Xaden's
Hmm.
dad, Fen Ryerson, was on there for killing her brother, but Liam's just like, wait, like people actually read that and cared?
Hmm. Of
That makes
like,
me sad though.
I know, and to think that he's seeing it as like, oh well, you were here in this college protected, you were the good guys to say. And so maybe
Mm-hmm.
in his mind in this moment, he's even thinking like, oh, well, you were reading it because like these were all the people that were bad. But like
Yeah.
in her mind, no, she was just checking for the one person because that person took her brother away. But
Yeah, she wanted
it's
to
like
make sure that
it's heartbreaking.
it's her own
Yeah.
vengeance.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
You know,
Heartbreaking.
it's hard to read it though because Liam is like, he's saying the traitors when referring to his
Hmm.
family and all the other parents that were executed. Or what does he say instead of the rebellion? It was the apostasy, I believe. Yeah, the apostasy. And
Yeah.
she was like, whoa, I haven't even heard that word because we don't use that term here. And he just says it so naturally. And then it kind of like flips and he's like biting out what he's trained to say there.
Hmm.
It's messed up.
Hmm. Hmm.
But Liam, he just drops a little bomb on Violet when he lets her know that all the marked ones, when they turn 20 for conscription day, they have to go into the writer's quadrant. They don't even get a choice like everyone else does.
Yeah, and she was totally under the impression that it was a choice. And so for
Yeah.
her being the general's daughter to like not even have that knowledge was like a shock to
Mm-hmm.
her. She was just like, "Oh shit." But it's like I guess because we've read, we know that. And so but
Yeah.
learning it and being like, "Oh, well." And he's kind of like, well, obviously because it's the highest death rate, just
Yeah.
knock them off easy. And that's what's sad too, is because they're so young. Like these are just kids. Like we said, like they're putting this,
Yeah. Around 20.
um, yeah, they're putting this target on their back from the get go with the relics and like placing blame on the kids for what their parents did. But then on top of that, like literally setting them up for death, which is also tragic.
Yeah. Because some of them may have wanted to do other quadrants and would have been more
Hmm.
talented in those areas. But it truly is like Liam looking at the bright side here because he says, I personally think the quadrant was chosen to give us the best chance of rising in rank, but others
Hmm.
others think it's because the death rate is so much higher.
Hmm.
And honestly, it probably is the latter, but I love that Liam is trying to look at it and be like, you know what, maybe they're really just trying to give us a chance.
Golden retriever, glass half full.
I know.
He's really trying.
Well, then he's over here. He is, and he's over here like telling her not only about how him and Zayden know each other, but telling him that during those times, or those years in foster care, Zayden taught him to fight. And we
Hmm.
know that Liam is the best of the best in their year. And so I'm like,
Hmm.
we have yet to see Zayden fight. Knowing how good
Mm.
Liam is, learning
Hmm.
from Zayden, that it just it gives you so much more appreciation for them both.
Well, and then in the same tidbit, we learn that Xaden is the oldest of all the kids of the rebellion. And so, yeah, that obviously explains the things. But
Yeah.
we haven't got to that yet.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Well, and
it
of course
breaks my
he
heart.
is
This whole thing breaks
because
my heart.
he's, of course he is because he was also the leader's son. So it had to be that way. There could be no one
I
older.
know. I know. It had to be. It just had to be. Well, you could be a young leader.
Like you
Look
said
at
that's true. And like you said in our summary, as they're walking back with their texts that were requested from the professors from the archives, they were also given a scroll for Professor Markham because he had left before he got his daily report.
Mm-hmm.
And it falls and opens, and we get
Casually
some disturbing news.
Mm-hmm. Very disturbing. That they just don't. I mean, I guess how do I want to? Markham just brushes it off like it's nothing, and then to them they're like, "Wait, back up. Did we read it wrong? Did we read something we weren't supposed to read?"
Yeah. And because they get the scroll, and it's talking about how there was a raid, an attack at a Navarian village called Somerton, and they're like how that never is on the southern border. We haven't even talked about that. And yeah, you get to battle brief, and they're just like, Somerton who? Never heard of her.
Moving on, we're going to discuss this completely irrelevant thing today that has absolutely nothing to do with current day. We're actually going to go back hundreds of years because that's what we need to talk about.
Exactly. It's fine. It's fine. But before we even get to battle brief, it's a interesting little tidbit that's thrown in there because Tyron wakes up and he is starving.
Ugh.
So it hits Violet, and she's like, I just need a flock of sheep.
Sheep lead never tasted so good. It's like the weirdest, the connection that they had. Like, well, we get to it later too, but or goats or whatever he decides for the morning. Then she just says, "Good gods, please go eat something."
It's just another tidbit. You're like, wow, they have such a funny bond, and I couldn't imagine feeling someone else's emotions and hunger, and that'd be awful.
No,
I can barely control my own.
Well, it's like when you're pregnant and you have like these really weird cravings, and you're like, but why?
Mm-hmm.
Things that you would normally never eat, or things you love that you now hate. And the fact that she's like, flock of sheep. Yeah, it's an interesting little.
I will say, slightly unrelated here. As you guys know, Callie and I both have children. When I was pregnant with my second kid, being a vegetarian of 10 years at the time, now 12 years, I crave chicken nuggets.
Did you ever eat them?
No, we drove to Chick-fil-A, and I was like, I can't do it.
I can't give in. I wonder if there's like what you could. Well, they probably do make vegan chicken. Ugh, that sounds terrible. Yeah. That sounds worse.
There's some that actually
cheap.
Like is meant to taste like chicken,
but you don't like that. That's what's funny.
Yeah, I don't eat those ones. Yeah, I don't eat those ones. But I just thought that was so funny because she has all these like this immense amount of hunger and craving for things that Taryn would eat, even though it's not her. And then you said the pregnancy thing. I'm like, yeah, that'd be like my dragon coming in through me, like, I just want some nuggies.
I just want some cheeky nuggies.
Honestly, if I had a dragon, that's what the dragon would want. Guaranteed. Just like, ooh, cheeky nuggie.
You'd be like, ew, no, we're not eating that. My dragon would
you go to Chick-fil-A quick.
My dragon hopefully would want tacos because that's all I want all the time. Feed me tacos.
Tacos and margs.
And I haven't really had margs in a while, but I do love margs. But tacos. So for my birthday, they were like, what do you
Always.
want for dinner? And the answer was immediately tacos, obviously.
Duh.
Tacos. Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
guys,
battle
before we keep
brief.
going, Callie's birthday
Oh,
was a few days ago, and it was so exciting.
it was. I should have worn my present, but it's hot. It's hot today. But
Yeah.
let's see. Our friend Danielle sent me a book. She sent me Binding 13, which I'm excited about. I have not read any of those, and I don't even really know what they're about, but I'm excited about it. And Montana sent me all the things. The most
We don't
exciting
need to
of
dive into it.
which was a book, a special edition book, and then also jammies from our favorite Victoria at Hello Libco, and you need to check her out because they're the cutest
Yes.
little Akatar jammies. They're so comfy. I did sleep in them already, and I was nervous because it's starting to get warm here, but they're pants and a long sleeve top, and I was fine. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, these are really comfy, so I'm excited. I love them. I should show them off,
Yeah.
but they're upstairs.
No, they are extremely comfy. And you know what? Honestly, we can just wear them for an episode because I have thrown out glass ones. And
Yes.
yeah, then we can do our little second shout out for Victoria because now, Victoria, hi, we love you.
Hi, we love you. They're so cute. She's the sweetest. I'm so excited. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a good birthday. And now
Anyway.
I'm 30 and old. And okay, I'm not old, but
You're not old.
it feels weird to be like in a whole new decade of life.
It's going to be the best one.
Yep. Because we have the FanTEAsy
So far.
podcast.
Anyway.
Okay.
Back to our book.
Brief.
Fun little personality moment there.
Yeah. Welcome to our crazy brains.
I enjoyed that.
Battle brief.
That's okay. You know what? Honestly, we have a cute little Riddick moment because he's over here like, I thought we were discussing how I owned that physics test. And Rhiannon's like, bitch, I got more points than you. And he's like, oh, we stopped counting your grades. You don't matter.
you don't get it. Like, what?
He's so funny. I just love him so much.
There was a lot of good Riddick moments in these chapters. He's just the best little comedic relief.
It's so needed too.
It is. It's always like just the most random things though. You're like, why are you talking?
Right?
And then there is a moment later. We'll get to it, but there's a moment later and it's funny and they're like, that's why I sit down.
Yep. We even do have a little bit of comedic relief slightly from Liam because, Xaden enters. Violet's like, I'm not even going to look at him. I'm just going to flip him off. And Liam's like, tell me, is it fun pissing off the most powerful rider in the quadrant?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Like, give it a shot one day.
Literally. He's like, nah, thanks. I'm good.
We just have so much like good fourth wing, second squad banter. So even like Violet's a little crabby and Rhiannon's like, oh, don't mind her. She's just sexually frustrated.
There's like so much camaraderie in this chapter. Well, in all these like coming chapters, like you start to see them more of like a whole unit, which is great for when we get to chapter 25, but also just like the friendships. They like really, this is the found family right here. And I love found family. That's like one of my favorite tropes in books.
100%.
Family, always. Like almost over enemies to lovers. Found family is everything.
It is. Both of them are everything, so we can just say that they're tied.
Why choose?
Again, why choose?
Why choose? We're not in a choosing era. Why choose? I get both. Oh my god.
All of it.
Mm-hmm.
even just Riddick here again, Liam's like, oh, I can review candidates if you want to get laid, and making just like such silly comments. And Riddick's like, are we telling dick jokes? This is my whole life. My life has led up to this moment.
Very moment. Liam is just like, God, fuck me.
He's so funny. They're so great. It's, this is truly just like, we had really heavy information. We find out about the attack, and now we're just like, oh, yeah, they're so funny.
Oh, it doesn't matter. But they might also find out that Zaddy has put a ward on Violet's door. And she's a little confused on how she feels about it. She's like, he did what? Say what? Come again?
Right?
Because I feel like as much of an intrusion as it really is, like, she's to the point of like starting to trust Zayden. So she's like, okay, he's probably not going to kill me anymore because that's not in his benefit. But do I really want him being the only other person that can enter and unlock my door?
Right. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Oh my God. Get out of my brain.
We are one brain.
On my final brain cell. Okay. Anyway.
And,
how do they end this chapter?
We already really... Well, it's just ended with Professor Markham not even acknowledging Somerton and essentially lying that the lines are quiet.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just like, it must have been classified and we just didn't realize it. We must have missed it. Yep. Let's convince ourselves of that.
Her and Liam are like both just like, did we? Oh, shit. Okay, don't say anything. We just, that wasn't meant for our eyes. Like, they're both like, oh, God. Mostly because they don't want to get in trouble of something that they maybe shouldn't know. But they're also like, wait, what? Why are we not discussing this issue at hand? So it's interesting. It's a good little...
It is.
little cliffhanger there.
Chapter 21. Chapter 22.
Feeling 22.
I was just about to do that.
Really? Get out of my brain.
Never.
That's so funny. Never. That is hilarious.
It is... The excerpt in this one is extremely interesting because it's an excerpt from the Book of Brennan discussing the very first rush of power when your dragon finally starts channeling for you to develop your signet. And it's, just talking about how it can be really hard to control and how you just feel this all so intensely and you don't want it to control you. I'm like, ooh, that kind of sounds scary.
But I also like that it says you'll be addicted to the high, to the possibilities of all you can do with it, to the control you hold in the palm of your hand. Oh. And then this chapter is so deliciously good. And then that's the excerpt. Like, okay, yeah. Getting hot and bothered already.
22 right off. Just kicking 22 right on off, it's very interesting because, we just left 21 where Battle Brief was weird because now we're not being told the truth. And Violet's over here like, are we being told the truth? What is it just our like classification levels? Why did we not know? And what are they not telling us? I'm like, okay, girl, we are halfway through the book and you are now starting to question Navarre and the college.
And all the professors and the leading generals and commandants and professors. Like, why are they not? It just gets completely glossed over. And you're like, okay, gee, thanks.
Yeah. Well, Violet's all trying to spar with Rhiannon, but having a conversation with Tarn in her head, and he's like, hey, you're not ready to channel.
Rude.
She's just got to prove herself. Rude. She's got to prove herself to him to be ready to channel. And, we just get some sass. He's like, you're not ready. And then Zayden's walking by. She's like, unless you have something useful to say, go away. And he's like, move faster. You'll be less likely to die. How's that for useful? Everyone's just sassing her right now.
Everybody is so sassy. They're like a bunch of teenagers. So weird, right?
I mean, early 20s, acting up. Yeah, makes sense. Checks out.
Mm-hmm. It's the sexual tension all built up. I think that's what it is.
That, and you're with each other all the time. It's like you just kind of have to be authentically you and keep it funny, but sassy at the same time.
True. I just like glanced
a little. Oh, what'd you glance at?
The bottom of page 265.
That's where I was going with this. Because, we just made the comment about how Liam was taught to fight by Zayden and he's the best. Well, now we see Zayden and Garrick both shirtless and they are sparring, and every woman in there is just like
gawking,
jaws on the floor, drool spilling out. Holy fucking hot.
Oh, it's delicious. I should have pulled up some fan art for this section.
Do we really need that distraction? We can barely keep track on our book.
True. Oh.
It's just great, though. And it's just, it's funny how all the women are oogling them, and Liam's like, are you really objectifying our wing leader?
Yeah, duh. But she says, I've seen countless writers spar without their shirts these past months. This is nothing new. I should be absolutely immune to the male form, but I've never seen him shirtless. And why is it like
him?
That? Him in italics. Come on. But like literally, it's something as simple as that, and she's like slurping herself, like chill. That came out way worse than it should have. So I'm just gonna backpedal real quick.
That was so funny. Oh my gosh. I loved that.
Oh my god. But then Terd,
that was great.
She gets knocked down, and he's like, serves you right.
Like this is the time to be in my head.
Yeah, like get out of here. Don't listen to my dirty thoughts.
And
I love this whole thing.
She gets knocked over, and Jack's over here just being a little fucking douche. She's like, that's the writer that Taryn chose. Ew, stop it. Yes, move forward.
I hate Jack. But we also get some
fucking Barlow.
We also get some Dane in this chapter. Crybaby Dane strikes again.
Just gonna sit here with my finger up for him.
Yeah.
It is.
He's all worried. Go ahead.
Well, it's just the fact that he's not even talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to talk to her ever since Amber died. And then this is the time he chooses?
Yeah.
To yell at them about watching people fight. Like, okay, I'm sorry. One, they're human. They're having a human moment. But two, like, you know what? Just quit being a dick. Get over yourself.
Well, he's just jealous. In this moment, it's jealousy, which does not look very good on you, Dane.
No, not at all.
Also, side by side, yeah, Sadie's hotter. So
Yeah,
that's
no
just a you
question.
problem,
None.
Dane. That's a you problem.
Maybe get some
It
tattoos, get a little more tan, get a little more muscular. Be Zayden.
just don't be Dane.
Lose your shit attitude. Quit being a bitch.
Mm-hmm. But it's like so frustrating because it's the first time that he's even talked to her since the whole Amber situation. And she's like, literally, like, what the
Mm-hmm.
fuck do you want now? Like, now you have an opinion? And Taryn is just like, she got herself killed. Well,
Yeah, literally. He's all sassy and but
he's so
Jack
sassy.
and Violet are kind of just they're kind of going at it and Violet, she even calls him a coward and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
But Dane, the
Mm-hmm.
first thing he says to her, "Oh, for fuck's sake, Violet, like are you joking me?" That's
Mm-hmm.
what you have to say. This is the time you step
Yeah.
in.
Well, yeah. He's not going to ever defend her.
No, why would he? He's terrible. Fuck you, Dayton.
Literally. Why were you egging him
Well, even
on? I'm not egging him on. He fucking started it and he's the idiot. Like,
yes. Even it's what we just said on page 270. Zayden says you choose the oddest times to defend her, Ados, and the most
mm-hmm.
convenient times not to.
Mm-hmm. Ah. It's like straight dagger though, because the truth had like she's already come to that realization, but then just hearing it
Yeah.
out loud again, she's like, oh God, like this person that I thought was gonna be this best friend is
Mm-hmm.
garbage friend.
And the one I thought that was going to kill me is here defending me.
And he's hot.
Well, bonus points.
And then because of her being so strong-willed in this moment, Taryn and
Yeah.
Darna, she's ready.
She's ready. I love
I love
it.
it. And Darna adds, with a giddy jolt of joy that makes me instantly lightheaded. Like, why is she just this little ray of sunshine? She's the cutest little golden
She's so
dragon
cute.
ever. She's so cute. Like, anything she says, it's like she doesn't have a negative bone in her body. She's just like, she's ready.
No. She did
Or,
it. She did
you
it.
can do it. You know, she's always just like, yeah, that's my girl. Oh, God.
Darna. And, they decided she's ready. So here comes that surge of power we were talking about where her relic is burning and she's like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Can't even do normal tasks, is like clenching her fists, holding on for dear life, trying to like ride the wave of like power that's rushing through her. But also, as we discussed, the feelings that she has from Taryn of feeling his hunger, now she's feeling other feelings of
His pleasure.
desires, which is like the most obscure thing to like, I don't know, when I was reading it back, I guess I didn't note it as much. Well, I probably did the first time, but it's so, I think when I think of the bond, I think of more of like their conversations and how they're just like constantly in communication and how they can work together and the magic. And I forgot about this piece of information of like, now he's a horny dragon and is trying to get his fix and she's feeling it.
And the fact that he chose to start channeling power to her at the same time, I'm like, wow, you really just kind of wanted to be a dick, didn't you?
Like, oh, you wanted it.
Like,
here you go.
You couldn't have like got it out of your system and then channeled to her, but
no.
So we have a power-filled, confused, but lustful, horny Violet, and she's like, "What the fuck is wrong with me?"
Her first instinct though is, where's Xaden? Let me go find him real quick. Hold up, he'll know what to do.
You know, I mean, Liam was also almost a casualty here because she runs into him first, and she's like, "I never noticed how good looking he is."
Yeah, he's just like, but why are you looking at me like that?
Know this.
Tall, blonde, and handsome. We love Liam. They could have had a really special thing here, and then Liam apparently has been with everyone.
This could have been another why choose, because he could have just gone with her.
Why choose? Why choose? We can have them both.
This is a Nesta, Cassian, Asriel thing.
Oh my god. One bed.
Anyway, so she finds Xaden outside. He's partaking in the fourth wing version of the devil's lettuce.
Gotta take that edge off, okay?
That's what they call it.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Okay. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Hey, he's like, literally.
He's just obviously so funny, kind of like he says the people little, who like comments like. Go ahead.
He says the people who made the rule obviously weren't bonded to Scale and Taryn. Now are they? Because you shouldn't be doing that in school. But as she's quickly learning, this is not a fun adventure.
We need to tone it down a little.
I don't know. That would be such a weird thing. Like, okay, it's one thing is it's your own.
I would not handle that well.
Yeah, but like if you're like feeling someone else's desires, like how weird of a feeling that would be. And she just describes it. I feel like I'm on fucking fire. Literally.
And it's kind of funny because, Violet and Xaden are, they're just kind of like shooting the shit with each other and all of that. But she just makes this comment, "I'm horrified to see Liam again." And we have a little pang of jealousy from Xaden. He's like, "Why? Where the hell is your bodyguard? In your bed?" Like,
he's definitely jealous.
You keep saying absolutely not. I don't fuck first years, especially you. Like, and now you're concerned if Liam's in her bed.
And then he's like, "Okay, but if you're both so consenting, funny. It's fine, but not really."
Is it fine? I'm fine.
I'm fine. It's fine. I'm not jealous.
But he's like, "Okay, we need to get you to shield." But he's also feeling Sigale's desire from this, so he's being a little flirty, silly with her, and he's like, "Oh, but ask me nicely." And sassy. She's just like,
"Yeah,
have you always been this tall?" Like, that's what comes out of your mouth.
Violence. So many violence names here. He's just giving it to her.
I know. I love it. I absolutely
As you
love
prefer,
it.
Xaden, would you pretty please teach me how to shield? Before I accidentally climb you like a tree?
Yes! Accidentally
climb you like a tree.
Accidentally.
I'm going to say that next time. I accidentally climbed you like a tree. Sorry.
Yep. My bad. Did not mean for that to happen.
Nope.
And before we get too spicy, Xaden's like, "Okay, I'm going to teach you how to shield. We're going to ground. You've got this." And he explains it to her about exactly how she needs to do this. She needs to plant her feet in a mental, safe place for her. And he does share a tidbit of personal information that his is the hillside in Aratia. And you're like, oh, that makes me so sad.
Mm-hmm.
But he does have his funny little moment because he touches her face to help her. And she's like, do you have to touch me? And he's like, not at all. Just one of the perks of not thinking too clearly. You have incredibly touchable skin. Like, what? Who says that?
Someone
But, like, say it
feeling the
again.
desires of a dragon.
I just love that so much.
So obviously Violet's home base she decides to ground in is obviously the archives. So she, plants her feet, envisions, but then to block out, he tells her to like physically shut the door. So now she's sitting here pushing this giant vault door in her mind, trying to close it. And it's like
turning it.
I don't know. It's a good little visual of like, as we as humans should, like, when you do want to like calm down, like we should try grounding. This is cool.
Done deal.
Not obviously for these sexual desires,
homework.
but yeah, let's practice grounding. I don't know where my place would be, but it's cool to think about. Anywho, back to the spice.
Ooh, I do know where my place would be, actually.
Oh, okay.
No, I know where mine would be.
Okay, well, not all of us are as cool as you.
No, my favorite place in the entire world is Cannon Beach, Oregon.
Oh,
on the beach, in the sand, like beach. That is home.
That's a good one. I have no idea where mine would
that
be.
Beach specifically. Okay, think about it and we'll circle back.
Okay.
But Zayden is amazed at how... Yeah, I am too. It's fine. Zayden's amazed at how well Violet did with her very first time, and he literally is just like, you are astonishing.
Mm-hmm.
Say it again. Like, please.
And then he just says, touching you was a bad idea.
We'll both regret it.
Kissing you would be
terrible.
Kissing you would be a cataclysmic mistake. Would it though? Would it? Nope. Mm-mm.
Just, little banter of the worst. Boom. Mouths have collided.
He says, fuck it. Oh my god.
I love that we have discovered these buttons.
They're so obnoxious to our brains. Yes! Oh my god. It's so good.
Oh, just this amazing, sensual, natural feeling kiss.
Except for he tastes like churrum and mint.
And the fact that he just picks her up, he's like, all right, we're doing this. Like, picks her up and just puts her around his waist, like, please? Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then the violence. He moans.
I know. Stop. I can't.
I'm sorry if you're a male in this audience right now, because I can't. These are just... I didn't write it, okay? I just read it, and I'm just letting you know what it says.
Just take notes for future escapades.
Exactly. It's so good.
It's so good. As they're having their moment, we have a huge foreshadow just popped in there, and it truly is a if you know, you know, because we're not going to explain it, but it says, a flash of light burns behind my closed eyes, followed by the boom of thunder. And you're like, okay, whatever, it's storming, whatever, it's okay.
Says thunder snow isn't uncommon around here, but damn does it summarize how this feels. Wild and out of control.
Boom, chicka, wow, wow.
It's so
And then
good.
Xaden just has to ruin the fucking moment and pulls away. Like, nope, 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 done. We're done. Walk away.
He had to.
I washed my
The
hands of
boner
you.
that he had to have had. He's like, if we can't do it all, I gotta go.
I did this to myself. I need you to leave. I gotta finish this myself.
But then for him to be like, this isn't
Yikes.
your want, that's the fucking problem.
Yeah.
And I can't leave you out here on your own. So have mercy on me and go. And it's like, yeah, you're not wrong. It's the lust from them, but also
that started
no,
it.
That's what started it. This is her lust, remember, because she's now, she's now trying to block them out. She was grounding, and now, no, Zaddy, she wants you. Don't deny the facts.
It is good that he really takes it into consideration, though, because, he's like, even though I want you, I don't want this to be because of them, not because of us. He's what he's not saying says so much more. And she just doesn't get it. She feels hurt and rejected. And you're like, girl, he's really looking out for you and the two of you together.
Slow burn.
That kiss was nothing slow.
Okay, well, hot and speedy to lead to a slow burn.
It only took us over half the book to get here.
Slow burn. Favorite trope.
And that is literally how
slow burn.
Chapter 22 ends. Is she's like, fuck, tomorrow's gonna suck.
Yep, sure does.
Let's just keep on rolling into chapter 23.
23. This is a good chapter. We learn so many good signets in this chapter. So many good ones. Okay.
This is just like your chapter.
They're all in here.
Signets. Like, this is all you.
Boom.
I love it.
But yeah, they say this is from Major Offender's Guide to the Writer's Quadrant. And it says, we lost 9 cadets my first year to signets that could not be controlled from their first manifestation. Pity. And so we've talked about it, but they keep, mentioning if you don't manifest, then your signet will just destroy you. And so she's finally just is getting that power through, but she's now has to learn how to manifest it. And so, this chapter is, so she right out of the bat,
signet filled.
Yeah, right out of the gate, she's like, the relic of my back burns today, as if it has to remind me that I can channel now. Like, the pressure is now literally searing her skin to, like, do something about it. Okay, great.
And imagine being in that moment and that pain, but also you don't know what it is you're supposed to be doing yet.
Literally no clue. So she's like, okay, so practice doing these little things, but you don't know what you're supposed to do. But anywho, they're in Rhiannon's room discussing the previous night's endeavors. And she's like, Rhiannon's like, was it good? Tell me it was good. The man looks like he knows what he's doing.
He does. He does.
He knows exactly what he's doing. Okay.
Yes, he does. And I wasn't even there.
Yep.
We love it. And Liam's all like, please tell me she's in there. And they're like, we're having girl talk. Leave.
He's all freaked out. She's like, literally, she's fine. We're just chilling. Like, go away.
He
He's
would have like a
dedicated.
Gabe moment from The Office where Gabe comes in. He's like, "Girl talk? I love girl talk."
Oh my God.
Just so he can stay
No,
dedicated to his job as bodyguard.
it would be a Riddick thing. Oh, girl talk?
Oh, 100%. See, Riddick would enjoy the girl talk. Liam uses it as an excuse to get in there to
Excuse.
still be bodyguard.
Yeah. I'm just doing my job, okay? No.
But he secretly loves it.
But so then Rhiannon is like, hey, check this out. And she summons. So Rhiannon has manifested her signet in summoning. Ooh. So proud of
A
her.
book from across the room to her hands. Amazing.
Literally amazing. Holy shit. Vi is like, wait a second. Wait a second. You just did that.
That's so cool. And she even mentions how she hasn't read about that signet being relevant or within anybody in the last century. So that's just a huge deal. And that is really good for Rhiannon's future.
Yeah. She's like, that's super rare, which is, yeah, when you have a rare signet, then your ranking can go up a lot because you're going to be way more useful. And it does come in use later on very quickly. But she, has manifested and it's awesome. Go Rhiannon.
It is just so cool. We are. And as they're walking to the academic wing, Liam's like, "Oh, here, I finished this for you." And we know that Liam likes to like wood carve and whittle and all this, and he made her a little wooden carving of Tarn, and I'm just like, stop, you're so cute.
It's the cutest. Literally. I know.
It really is.
Golden Retriever.
I know. But we previously discussed Dane and how he's not talking to Violet, and his first words of choice to her were just obnoxious. And so Dane's like, hey, like, we need to talk. And Rhiannon, instead of treating him with respect of a squad leader, she's just glaring at him. She's like, fuck you, Dane. I know what you did.
Touch her and you die.
Rhee's version.
Yeah, we hate him.
I love that because, especially with what he says here, the fact that he is hurt. I get it. Like, if you're thinking from his perspective, he's like, oh my God, she never told me. Oh, I'm so upset. Why would she do that? But like, from everyone else's perspective, you're like, get the fuck over yourself, Dane, and be a better friend.
He's just pissed off at the fact that he wasn't the first one to know. And she's like, I've tried to tell you other things and you didn't believe me. You didn't trust me.
Yeah.
And that's why I went a different way. And like, then the whole, you didn't ask for my permission. You just instantly thought that's what you got to do. And she's like, that's crossing a line. And he's like, oh, like, I didn't see it that way. Like, what?
Psycho? He's like, I didn't ask. He
don't gaslight me.
He had literally, and he's like, he's not even realizing he didn't do it. But yeah, he's like, you trust Zayden more than you trust me. Well, you know what? Yeah, because you have proven time and time again that I cannot give you this.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Dane. You can suck my dick. It's the Thunder song.
I knew I heard it somewhere and I couldn't place it, but yeah, that's it.
I do love that Violet actually has another moment where she stands up for herself, but it's not just anger. It's really like matter of fact to him. She literally says, until you can stop looking for ways to keep me in a glass cage, we aren't going to get past this, no matter how many years of friendship we have between us. Like, boom.
Yep.
I just can't.
I just, it's frustrating that he's like placing all this blame on Xaden when really Violet of all people knows like who Xaden is to her, and like even
Yeah.
reminds him like his dad is the reason that my brother is dead. Like I of all people know not to trust him,
Yeah.
but in the same breath, he saved my life, and I can't say the same for you. Like you were just as quick to brush off everything I've said, which is
Yeah.
like, shut the fuck up, Dane. Crybaby Dane.
And the guilt he would have felt if Amber and Oren and the other unbonded were successful and finding out that that's
Mm-hmm.
what had happened, he
Mm-hmm.
would have never forgave himself.
Would he have found out though
So I mean,
that it was
oh no,
her?
probably not. No.
Yeah. No.
100% no. The Amber would have kept it hidden for the rest of her time. Because she's dumb. But she's dead, so it's fine.
Thank God. Bitch.
We get into Professor Carr's class, and our only exposure to him thus far is him snapping Jeremiah's neck for being an intrinsic,
Ugh.
which is just terrifying. And she's
That
talking
scene
about how
gives me
he's
goosebumps.
dominating the space by doing nothing more than standing there. And that's just like, that is his whole demeanor. He is such a big person in every way that's not even physical. It's kind of scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's terrifying.
But a little lightning in the moment. Rhiannon says you're all worried about the integrity of the wing because Ryerson might have to visit to keep his dragon happy. But Violet, he's not the most powerful rider of our generation. You are.
You are.
I loved that.
I know. Mm-hmm.
It was so great.
She's literally like, can we have her as a best friend?
Honestly, we need her and Riddick as members of the podcast.
We do. That would be so good. Okay, calling all real life Rhiannons and Riddicks. Please step forward.
Riddick / Cassian, because I feel like he's also comedic relief.
And delicious.
That's another story.
So now we've, fast forward some more weeks. December turns January. January is rolling into February. It's weird. We talked about this, but like the time at the beginning of the book is like day by day. And now things have progressed rather quickly. And so
months.
so now we've really spanned a lot of time here. But she's, just really practicing and trying to figure out any kind of magic that she has. So she's doing just like the most, what seems simple, but like is not. So she's, imagine a knot of power, not too intricate. No one's ready for that yet. In front of you, then untangle it, unlock the door, visualize. Like just this whole little bit, like is so interesting because it's like what seems like it should just come, this magic is like something that she has to work at just as much as she does sparring or studying for a test or whatever. It's interesting. So then we learn more signets. Yay!
So many signets. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
And Callie will give us a beautiful signet update later. So we'll get there. But
we'll get there.
We have now entered the era where Jack has finally been given the chance to challenge Violet. And this is just like a huge oh shit moment.
Mm-hmm. Big one. Like,
so
God.
Like, Liam, I need to tell you something, but I need you to not tell Xaden. Please just be my friend here.
Can you just keep this tiny little secret, please? And he's like,
teeny
no,
tiny,
because he's gonna kill you. And she's like, no, it's fine. I got it handled. And he's like, the fuck you do? I've been saving your ass this whole time.
It's just so funny. And, they get called to the mat and Liam's like, tell me I can break the promise, that he's pleading and begging. And you're like, she's like, okay, fine. Go ahead. It's not going to happen in time. So sure, go for it.
Mm-hmm. He just runs off. It's so like, I mean, you know, though, if she did die, Xaden would probably kill Liam for not protecting her. And then Xaden would die.
Mm-hmm.
Would he get a chance? Sigale.
That's...
Sigale. How would this play out?
I don't know. There's so many possibilities, but
I know.
this sparring match is just so intense.
Mm.
And, you know, Jack really is like, oh, just one dagger. That's all I need. So Violet's like, you know what? Fuck you. And works him into a frenzy where she's just dodging and slicing however she can to get him pissed off enough to lose focus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's genius, but...
There's a Riddick moment in here that's worth noting because he's the best. But Liam is like, okay, you stay here, guard her like you're me. And he said, you mean like I'm 6 inches taller and built like a bull?
He's so good. The thumbs up and everything.
Sassy. Yeah. I got it. No problem, dude.
Hurry back.
Yeah.
Please. You know, Tarn's in her head, like, go for the gullet. Offense, now, strike first. And you're like, okay, let her do her thing.
And Emitario is just like, keep it clean. PG, folks, PG.
This is just sparring, not the enemy.
Mm-hmm. And Jack is literally going for blood.
Yeah, Riddick literally shouts, he's using death blows. That's not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they allowed this to happen.
The anxiety. As if like every other writer / professor doesn't know that Jack literally has it out for Violet and like physically wants to kill her. Not just wound her, send her to the infirmary. No, he wants to kill her. So why are we allowing this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, they're just back and forth. You know, she kicks him in the balls, which is hilarious. But
straight in the balls.
You know, he is literally about to kill her, and she notes humongous foreshadow here is his sadistic grin and a red rim around his eyes are all that I can see. And we're like, oh shit. Okay, because if it's your first time reading, you just think, oh shit, that's scary. But knowing what we will know eventually getting through this book, you're like, oh, that makes so much sense, because it says he forces more and more power into my body.
Yep.
I just... But being our little poisons master that Violet is, and knowing that Jack is allergic to oranges.
Delicious little oranges.
She's like, have some vitamin C, bitch.
Yep. And then the best part is she's just like, he's allergic to oranges, as she's like passing out.
Literally, the only thing that saved his life is that she said that.
Like, why? The difference between the two, because he would have just killed her and been done with it, and she's like, okay, don't let him die. He's allergic to oranges. No, bitch, let him die. You've saved his ass 2 different times. You should have just offed him when you had the chance.
I know. And she wakes up hours later in the healer quadrant, and Xaden's just like, oranges?
Really?
Oranges. You're joking me.
Is this a fucking sick joke to you? Oranges?
It was so funny. And that's literally the last line of chapter 23.
Oranges. Oranges.
Oranges. We need to make that like a meme or something on our page, oranges. Just for the people who know. Oranges. It's just literally just oranges with a question mark.
Oranges. Adding that to the list.
The more we say it, the weirder it sounds.
Oranges?
But you know, that conversation doesn't stop there because we just continue right on forward with it in chapter 24. He's
Yep.
like, you turn oranges into a weapon, violence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
like,
worked
yeah,
with what I
okay.
had.
She's genius. She really is. And
he's like,
you know, it's been noted multiple times that Violet has not killed anyone at this point. And the excerpt is interesting because it's from the Book of Brennan, but it says, I know you don't want to hear this, but sometimes you have to know when to take the death blow, Mira. It's why you have to be sure that Violet enters the scribe quadrant. She'll never be able to take a life. And Brennan, thus far, has had it correct.
Yep. Hasn't been able to do it. Even when she knows, like, Jack fucking Barlow should be dead, she somehow just lets him live his happy little life, even after poisoning him with oranges.
Fucking oranges.
Just
You know, so
literally
Xaden
let
is
him
just... Xaden's over it at this rate. He's like, you know what? No. This is useless. I'm taking over. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he said, everything when it comes to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes.
He told her, you could have killed him and saved us a lot of drama. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot. Like Xaden's
girl.
like, bitch, you're going to get yourself killed and that's going to get me killed and I'm not going to be here for it. So I'm in charge now. I am the captain now.
Yep.
I tell Chase that all the time. I am the captain now. And he's like...
Dallas and I use that all the time.
It's a great... I mean, the movie that it's from is horrible, but...
Yes.
I am the captain now.
But the line, yeah.
But
it's
just
a good
that
joking line.
Yes.
But you know, Xaden and Violet are now on the mat. He's helping her in every way he can. And he's like, you need to disarm, even though he's covered in daggers.
He's helping her all right.
You know, we come to find out she like takes these daggers and she's like, oh, it's spectacular. It's so much better in her hand. It has the Tyrish knots. And he's like, it's yours. I had it made for you. What? Heart palpitations.
It's the sweetest. She's just like, shit, that gives me feelings I really don't have time for.
Feelings.
Confusing feelings. So many feelings.
Especially as they kind of get like a little bit of spicy banter here. Mm-hmm. You know, they're getting real close and comfortable, and she's like, you won't, or he's like, you won't like what happens when you push me. She's like, or maybe I will. And he's like, disarm me before I test that theory in front of everyone in this gym. Okay. Is it hot in here?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's just so great.
Like, I'm sorry. And then he's going to straddle her. And what? We're not supposed to do anything with that action?
It's literally nothing.
Nope.
Mm-hmm. And she's just taking these daggers that he had made for her. And I thought that was just so sweet. And he's like, okay, live up to your nickname and try to kill me.
Okay, literally, though, when I play out this entire scene in my mind, it's like the most pathetic, like, puppy dog match of like, oh, you got me.
Oh, 100%. Like, now take the daggers.
Take that one. Okay, there's one on my right, my right rib. Like, you can get it. And he's just letting her have him.
You found another one.
Shoot. And she, like, knows it, but is still like, I flicked it off of him. No,
entertaining it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It is so funny. And, time is just still flying. And her and Xaden, that's all they're doing. He is just taking her out of class. He's taking her out of sparring. And he is giving her the best of the best at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now we're somehow into February. What the hell?
I know, it's
Nope,
crazy.
nope. March. We've skipped on to March, February, and March. Just time is literally soaring. So we're getting
Yeah.
into signets later, but more people are progressing in their signets, we also learn of obviously the issues that come along with it. And so they're kind of
Hmm.
discussing, and they're discussing uh Betty?
I was gonna
I'm not
say
really sure.
Vetty.
Betty? But so
Yeah.
she manifests. Oh no, sorry. He manifests in class, and they think he would have been, fire wielding, but instead just, burst into a ball of flames. Mm-hmm.
How sad.
Mm-hmm. I think that would, yeah,
Just
no.
makes me.
I don't, that's not how I want to go. But then, like,
No, that is one of the
spontaneous
last ways.
combustion, I don't know. Thought that was going to be a more prevalent life problem, spontaneous combustion, but thank God it's not.
2 episodes in a row, this has come up, and I love it.
I knew we talked about it at one point, but literally,
It's just so
spontaneous
great.
combustion. Yeah. So ball of flames, that's unfortunate. And also there was two that died from manifesting incorrectly, and the other was frozen to death. I don't know which is
Hmm.
worse. You freeze to death or catch on fire.
Well, and not even that. It's the fact that they froze the person next to them, and even Riddick,
Yeah.
2 people down, got frostbite from it. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
intense.
Mm-hmm. You really done fucked up.
You done fucked up, Ron.
Aaron.
But you know what? Zayden is really just doing his job to piss off Dane and taking Violet instead of letting her go to Cars class.
God. Fuck you, Dane.
I thought it was so good. Oh, but he's taking her to the flight field instead of her going to Cars class, and he's like, we have a lot of other things to get through. And as they're walking, they're just having casual conversation about squad battle coming up, and he says, when I was a first year, I thought winning was the pinnacle too. But once you're in your third year, you see the things that we do. Let's just say the games are a lot more lethal. And you're like, okay, Zayden, just say what you are meaning. Like, what is actually going on?
Spell it out. Like I'm 5.
Please, I am not a mind reader. I'm not a mind reader.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
If you know. Thank you for being here.
But on their way to the flight field, we have a very, very uncomfortable altercation
Oh God.
with
So awkward.
Dane's
So awkward.
dad, Colonel Ados, her
Mm-hmm.
mom, and is it Panchak
Hi,
or Melgren?
mommy.
I don't remember
In
which one it
this
is.
one, pan check.
Yeah, yeah. But it's just awkward and gets really uncomfortable. And she's like, it's been more than 5 months and I can't be as composed or compartmentalized. Gosh, words. Like, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
built like she is, like Mira is. I'm my father's daughter. Yet again, we're saying
I'm
that little tidbit.
my father's daughter. Yep.
The daughter of a scribe.
Yet somehow she's a writer. I don't know.
I
Something
know.
doesn't add up here.
Instead of
Mm-hmm.
being matronly, Lilith is just like, oh, hey, I hear you can't channel, right? I hear you can't manifest a signet yet.
If not, all of that incredible, inviolable power will have been squandered. God.
God, I hate her.
I just can't even picture anyone but Meryl Streep
Aside from Meryl
anymore.
Streep.
Like,
Yep.
it's just
It's too
squandered.
perfect. Mm-hmm.
Oh, but it's
And Dane's
painful.
dad has the audacity to ask to study Andarna purely for academic purposes, of course. Like,
Uh-huh,
are you
sure.
joking me? Are you asking to study other dragons?
Nope, definitely
No.
not.
And things are just tense all around, even when Lilith makes a stupid ass comment. Glad to see you're alive, Cadet Sorengale, even if the company you're forced to keep is more than questionable.
Mm,
Ew.
tell me you don't like her boyfriend without telling me you don't like her boyfriend.
I always thought we resolved those any of those questions years ago. And Violet's like, wait, what? Questions?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. Ugh.
Just so much that just is left dangling that we don't know.
Yep. It's a fun time.
You know what? At this moment in time, fuck you, General Sorengale. I will say it.
Yep. 100%.
I think this is a good moment though, because since Zayden got to witness it, he's realizing, okay, she's not really like her mom. They don't have this happy mother daughter relationship. He even says, I didn't realize it was quite like that between you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, well, shit sucks. So
And I literally, even the part he's like, you didn't tell her about you, how you got attacked in your bedroom. Like,
yeah,
the relationship is so clear to him in that moment of like, oh my God, like she's nothing like you. And it's like heartbreaking.
it is
Heartbreaking.
heartbreaking.
And
And
then
you know,
her
he
just
got
like
to
word
see that
vomiting
moment.
her. Yeah, then she's like literally spitting out all of her sad pent up emotions of like, I
Yeah,
never could live up to her standards. I don't feel like I'm doing enough. I'm not like Mira or Brennan, and she hates that. And it's like literally so self deprecating and
yeah, it
heartbreaking.
is.
It's so terrible.
But
And
he doesn't shut her down for it. He just listens.
then he says, she doesn't know you very well then.
Like, okay, thank you.
Cutest little zaddy.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't care about you, but secretly I do. So let me compliment you quick.
But then they're also going back to, um, she asks him, well, what was that about anyway? Saying that you resolved questions years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, just reminding her that I paid the price for my loyalty. And she asks, paid what price? And he just says, boundaries, violence. And it's like, she just
Boundaries.
shared so much of a piece of her with him. And then for him to kind of shut her down in this
To
moment is like,
not return it. Yeah.
he totally shuts her down and is like, no, boundaries. Like, I don't want to go there because I already have these feelings towards you. And that's just going to add another layer
Yeah.
to it. So we're going to pump the brakes there. And,
Yep.
ugh, heartbreaking.
And he still doesn't fully know where she lies because she doesn't
Yeah.
know what's going
They
on.
don't fully
She
trust
does
each
he
other
doesn't
yet.
understand. Yeah, we're
Mm-hmm.
we're not in this moment. So,
Mm-hmm.
he takes her to the flight field and we have baby Andarna flying today, which is so exciting since she never gets to
Baby
go. But
Andarna. I know. And she's like, oh, we're all flying?
Zayden,
Like
he's
a
got this
giddy little
plan.
schoolgirl. Mm-hmm.
I just love it. And he's got this plan. He's like, Andarna needs to learn how to keep up. Tyr needs to learn how to share his space. Sigale, needs to learn how to share being the leader and learn how to be a follower. And and that Violet needs to learn how to keep her seat and why the hell it's so hard for her to do so.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, ugh.
It's a good little
He's got
chapter
a plan.
24. He always has a plan.
It is. And he's the man with the plan, and we appreciate that.
We do like a man with a plan.
So on to our last chapter of the segment, chapter 25. Let's dive into squad battle because, oh my gosh, this chapter.
I love this chapter. I love this chapter.
It's so
So good.
good.
This is like so everything you need of like found family. Like they just it clicks in this chapter, and I love it. Ah,
Yeah.
it's good.
The excerpt says the squad battle is more important than the wing leaders will let on. They like to joke that it's a game, that it's just bragging rights for the squad leaders and the winning squad, but it's not. They're all watching. The commandant, the professors, the commanding officers, they're watching to see who will rise to the top. They're salivating to see who will fall. I'm like, okay, yeah. At first, it's just like, oh, we're trying to see like our assets and who we've got. But the salivating to see who will fall, I'm like, ew, that's just toxic. Why?
It's so toxic. It's like, who's gonna die today?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
bad.
Like
It's
they're
so
giddy
bad.
about it. You're like, oh, stop it.
It's really gross behavior. But it's fun because they're
It
already
is.
doing so good as a squad. And then, like, right at the
Yeah.
beginning of this chapter, like, Rhiannon's kicking ass. Is it Liam or Riddick that's kicking ass? Like,
It's
they're just literally
Liam
taking
is
names.
in a match and it's their
Yes.
7th out of 24 on the leaderboard, but if Liam wins, we'll jump to 3rd.
Yes. Oh. Go
Kicking
Liam.
ass
Go
and
Liam.
taking names.
They
Well,
don't
and
fuck
we know
around.
he won, so 3rd out of 24. That's impressive.
It's so impressive. And also, like, whoop whoop. Go Liam.
Honestly. And it's kind of funny that, Dane and the other squad leaders are MIA here. And you're like, look how kick ass your squad is doing, and you're not even here to see it.
Mm-hmm. Little Liam Mari. We
It's all
love
right.
him. Yeah,
We
Dane's a
do love
douche.
him. He's the best.
Yep. He's
But
MIA,
Dane's a
as per
douche.
usual. But Dane's a douche. Big facts. Crybaby
I just love
Dane.
this.
Oh.
Rude. But it gets interesting. Like you said in the monologue, they throw in a twist. Usually you have you get your task and then you have the night to plan for it, but this time they're like, oh no, here's your task, you have 3 hours to execute it.
And
Go.
be back and present it. Like, go. And then
Mm-hmm.
on top of that, they note Dane and Sienna are not there, and neither are any of the other executive officers or squad leaders. They're all MIA. So
Yeah.
now you don't have any leaders. Here's your task. Go do it without any guidance. And then they're like, what the hell? Like, how are we supposed to, like, doesn't that defeat the purpose of having the squad leaders? And he says the purpose of the squad leader is to
Mm-hmm.
form a tightly knit unit that can carry on a mission after their demise. Oh, which I think is great too. So now they're thrown into this, and the task is to find something that could be advantageous for their enemies to use against them in
Yeah.
battle or whatever. And so, but they have to stay within Basgiath's walls and find something around the college, which I think is also interesting because you're literally, I always think of like YMCA sleepovers or like you're at school, like after hours, and you want to get
Mm-hmm.
into the places that you're not supposed to, but as normal children, we're like, oh, we can't go in there. And these guys are like, okay,
Yeah.
where could we go? And so instantly they're like, the archives. Liam's like, the archives. Like, that's a genius idea, which I love that Liam is the one to say it too after all the time he's
Yeah,
been
because
spending there.
information.
Yeah. So he's like,
Yeah.
obviously the archives. And that obviously isn't going to work because Violet knows that it's vaulted shut. There's absolutely no way, even weakening the wards, like they're not going to get in there.
Yeah.
We need information.
Well, and it's pretty cool because they gather their squad and they're like, okay, someone has to take charge. We don't have a squad leader.
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna do it? And they're all like, no, no, not me. And even though they're voting Imogen, she still makes it a point to ask the two third years just to make sure. She's like, Emery, Heaton as third years, it's your right, which is so cool,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
knowing that she's just a second year. But Imogen's badass and takes over, and they start
Rightfully so.
forming a plan. Yeah, and where our Liam baby is like, yeah, information.
We need information.
That's what they need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then they're like, okay, what could we do though? But Imogen sees the wheels turning in Violet's mind, and she's like, what are you thinking? And she's like, no, it's too risky. Like, we can't do that. And she's like, no, just tell me. Like, I can see it happening. Just tell me. And she's like, break into General Sorrengail's office. And at this point, it's not revealed what they're searching for. But the plan then is moved into action of how they're going to get there, how they're going to break into the office, whose role, like what role each person is going to play, which I love because then it comes back to their signets and what each individual has to offer. And so this chapter is so cool for that, of like, they all have a strength now and they're all going to use it. And except for, who is it? Poor, shoot. Oh, whose is it? Next page. Not Quinn.
Breathe underwater. It's
Heaton. Is it Heaton? I was gonna say Emery, and then I was like, it's not that. Yeah. It's just like,
no, Heaton. Sorry, what about you? I can breathe underwater.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, Emery's the one
that's not useful here. Yes. Yep. Which comes in handy.
Cool signet though.
Breathing underwater makes me think of Goblet of Fire. That would be very useful. Try Wizard Tournament.
Gillyweed?
Ugh. See, no, I wouldn't want to eat that. Crisscross. Oh, God.
But, they have to wait. They have 3 hours for this challenge. And while they're forming their plan, they're like, no, we have to wait till nightfall when no one's working. So they have to, they waste a lot of time. Not only are they forming a plan, which is so good, but they waste a lot of time just waiting. So they have such little time to try and get this put together to break into her mom's office. But they come up with the most flawless plan. And I mean, not flawless, but
it's genius. It
is genius. And it's so well executed.
They did a damn good job. Even with the hiccups that come, that was a good formulated plan. They all had a set thing that they needed to do. And without one, the whole thing would fall apart. So literally, I don't know, it's damn near flawless, if you ask me.
So now, and they really do make good use of the signets that are available to them. They really try to put every single person in a position where they are helpful and useful to get them into that office, which is so cool.
I love. Of course.
I thought it was funny, though, once they got into the office, Riddick is like, how nice is this? And lays on her couch.
He's just chilling. But of course, like, even before they get into the office, they're like climbing up the stairs, and it's like all the way up to the top of the turret. So it's like, what, 6 or 7 flights of stairs or whatever. And they're literally just like, 6, sure could use Xaden right now. Like, okay, bye. Chill.
The shadows, yeah.
And then Andarna, but you're doing great. Like, she's just literally this little beam of energy. It's like, you've got it. No problem.
No big. You're just doing something extremely risky.
Oh, Riddick. Yeah.
I absolutely love it. and how they trick the guard into getting away from the door. I don't want to say too much since we'll do signets at the end, but it's just so cool. I love it.
The whole thing. Yeah. They, when they, even before they get in there, yeah, they hash it all out. And then when you're kind of watching them, it's just like a movie in my mind, watching it play
It
out,
is.
but then just like sitting there thinking like this whole time, like, okay, hurry. Like you're, in my head, at least this is when I read, I'm like, hurry up. Like you got to get out of there. You got to get out of there. And then still, if you're reading it for the first time, not knowing exactly what they're after, and they're kind of, and they don't really even know either. They're just kind of searching around like on the desk, what's important, what's not. So then, Violet comes across these letters on her mother's desk, which are from different military officials in, at different posts and whatever, which I thought were interesting because one is talking about the raids.
Yep.
And then one
the
is
raids that we weren't being told about.
Those ones. And then the other is talking about the conscripts. And I think that's also really different conscription laws. And so just these two little things to be noted, I thought were interesting. But then the other thing that was on the desk that is also so quickly just washed over, is what? Tell me real good.
I pick up the first, revealing a sharp dagger with an alloy-infused hilt and what looks to be a Tyrish rune on the handle that she must be using as a letter opener or something. Just a casual Tyrish rune dagger like the one Xaden just had made for her for a very specific reason on her mom's desk. That's just a letter opener. No big.
But then it's just, like, that's it. They're like, okay, we mentioned it, moving on. God, Rebecca. Yeah. That's all.
Violet, they're all flipping through, trying to find anything in her office that's useful. Going into this office, not even knowing what you're going to take when you only have an hour to get in, get out safely, and make it back to present. Like, that's so stressful. But Violet's like, oh my gosh, we have the most advantageous item to our enemies. We have an updated map of all the posts, all the raids, everything up to the night before.
It's just
crazy. I mean, it makes sense to have.
But also, this map is huge. Even with take it off the wall and roll it up, it still takes 2 people to move it. It's huge. So, why? I mean, yes, it's genius, but like practicality-wise, it's not a good item to grab. But for the sake of like...
Yeah, because you can't just grab and run.
Yeah, being the most important, useful item that they could possibly get in there, that's what they decide to go for.
Yep.
And so, in a quick scurry, they grab it, they go, and they get the hell out of there.
Almost get caught. So close,
literally almost get caught. But thanks to Emery, we do not. So good.
Yep. Well, and even after Emery kind of takes care of it, they move the guard into the closet, and Violet gives him a tonic to just kind of relax him. And Violet says, he'll sleep the rest of the night. And Liam looks at her and says, you're kind of terrifying.
You are literally terrifying. Yep.
I love that so much. I'm like, yes.
The fact that she's just like, thank you. Like, she just so prideful in the fact that she just, here's a little extra so you really sleep. Like, and the fact that she's just like casually carrying that around in her pocket at all times. Like, psycho.
I know, I love it.
Literally a psycho. And then they make it back.
Like, if you think about it in our world terms, I'm like, that is psycho. But if you think about it in their world, I'm like, that's genius.
Genius. She is a genius. In this setting, she is more than prepared, which is perfect for her.
Absolutely.
But then they're, they still have to rush back to Battle Brief to now present what they have stolen from school, basically. Or her mother, really, is what you want to say. And so, they're the last to enter the room, and everyone is kind of like, oh my God, you barely made it. And like, what the hell were you doing? And blah, blah, blah. Because they're all just chilling. Like, oh, where you been? We've been here for probably an hour, and you're just now getting back. Well, yeah, we had the coolest thing to grab. And so they're like, just, it says, a squad in first wing stole Kaori's handwritten manual on the personal habits and flaws of all active dragons, which is very useful and impressive. That's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Squad in second wing elicits an appreciative murmur when they reveal the uniform of one of the infantry professors. This one is a good one because the uniform, it has a name tag, which doesn't happen. Nobody ever wears name tags. And so it can grant an enemy access to all outposts given the rank on the shoulder, which that one is a good one. And then the other one mentioned was the scribe. They took a scribe.
Yeah, they brought a poor scribe and used a signet. Let's see, the power to take away speech.
Yep.
Like, oh, poor baby.
Literally, poor baby. Like, traumatizing to say the least. You literally kidnapped someone in the middle of the night or whatever time it is, I guess. And like, and now you can't talk either.
Well, it says stolen straight from his bed. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. If that's not terrifying. By a bunch of writers, too. And, like, from the interactions with Jasenia, we know that, like, they don't really know what goes on in the Writer's Quadrant other than they die all the time and they're ruthless. Like, if you woke up and these, 10 writers are standing above you and just, like, kidnap you out of your bed, I'd be like, oh my God, they're going to kill me.
Scary.
They're going to kill me right now. Yeah, it's terrifying. Yep. So, but the best of this chapter is she knows how great this whole map idea is, but it's the little ending of one particular person acknowledging it that's like, of course, perfection.
Absolute mayhem breaks out, some of the riders rushing the stage as professors battle their way toward us, but I ignore it all as Xaden tilts the corner of that beautiful mouth and tips an imaginary hat to me, bowing his head for a heartbeat before bringing his gaze back to hold mine. Satisfaction fills every ounce of my being as I smile up at him. It doesn't matter how the vote comes down. I've already won.
It's so good. It's so good. Literally. Like,
and that is literally now. How 25 ends. Like, it's just so, it's fun. They had such good, like, found family, squad camaraderie and all of that. I love it. And then, Xaden's just, like, showing how proud he is of her. And I'm like, okay, yeah. But yeah, as we wrap up, we still need to get our update on the signets that were introduced throughout these chapters. So, Callie, take us away.
We finally named the segment Sippin' on Signets. Gotta spill the tea on all these cute little signets. But there were so many new ones in these chapters that were so good. Some we learned from chapter 23 and then the most recent chapter 25. But so we've learned Liam can see things miles away. So he can see a tree, for instance, in the distance, miles away. Rhiannon, we learned, can summon. So as she demonstrated to Violet, she could summon. She picked up the book from her desk all the way across the room and got it to herself. Sawyer, we know, can manipulate metals. Riddick, we learn, can wield ice, which we also learn another writer could do the same, but as we discussed, froze himself to death, which is unfortunate for him. Emery is air manipulation or wind control, which was the fun little tidbit in chapter 25 of as they're breaking out of the office, the guard is now chasing them and she and takes control of that. And that's great. And Keaton can breathe underwater, which is irrelevant in this chapter. Imogen, totally irrelevant, but it's fine. Like we said, great for Goblet of Fire. Imogen is able to erase people's recent memories. Quinn, astral projection, which was very helpful also in chapter 25. She can appear somewhere she isn't. So she's actually back in the gym, in the locker area, or wherever they were, and projects herself to distract the guard in the beginning of the chapter. Vetty, we talked about, wields fire, but also combusted himself, so unfortunate again. And then Nadine saves the day and is able to unweave wards and is able to unlock the door to get into General Sorrengail's office. So lots of good signets in these chapters. We still have not uncovered Violet's signet to this point, but it's coming.
Super soon.
Super soon.
So soon. Oh my gosh. We have some good stuff coming, though.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just get better and better.
Signets. That's cute.
Sipping on signets. Goes with your Dragon Ball tea.
Exactly. It's just all the tea on everything. It's so great.
We are here for the tea. We still have yet to make any kind of tea or concoction to actually sip on while we do an episode, but it's fine.
Last episode.
Oh, okay. Is that the episode we'll also wear our jammies, or
we should? Yeah, and reveal
counterintuitive
our other Taylor Swift song. I know, right?
Oh yeah, I know. Well, because I'm like, well, they're Sarah J. Maas, but literally these jammies, guys, they're so good that matter. I want to show them off in the podcast. They need to be seen.
Yeah. We will 100% wear them on the last episode. We will be having some fun themed drinks that we'll be posting on our page beforehand. So if you want to have a themed drink with us while we record, we can all match. We've got fun things coming up, but we got a few more episodes until we get there. This is episode 5, and we still have... Wait, episode 5? Episode 6. This is 5. Yeah, this is episode 5, so we still have 6, 7, and 8. We got 3 more.
Yeah. Yep, just 3 more. That's not bad. We're doing really good. Considering how hectic our lives are, guys, this is an accomplishment.
This is. And we're over halfway through this book, which has been really exciting.
It's been so fun to reread and do it and actually hash it out. Because I feel like you and I text briefly about books, or we'll just be like, oh, that one thing. Or we send reels back and forth of different things, or pictures or memes or whatever. Yeah. But this has been a whole fun experience to really actually talk about everything specifically.
Dissect it out. Yeah. And it's interesting to pick each other's brains and see how we both are perceiving things, to see if we're picking up things the same and what other people on the internet
apparently on this episode we're literally the same brain length. What is happening?
We are the final brain cell.
We are the final brain cell. Stop thinking what I'm thinking. Okay.
Again, never.
It's
but
been a blast.
Thank you guys so much for being here. We absolutely love what we do doing this. So if you love joining us, we appreciate you. Please don't forget to give us a like, a subscribe, review, rating, and follows on all the social media platforms. We would really appreciate it. The next episode will be a little bit shorter one. We're covering chapters 26 through 28.
Yep. Short and quick, hopefully. We talk a lot, so who knows?
But with that being said, thank you guys for being here, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, guys. Bye.